Everyone to the 100th episode of Throwback Thursday. So that's almost 2 years of making these little photo slides of old blog posts. And this time it's a 6mm sci-fi battle for Future War Commander. A game that back then in 2018 I hadn't played for years, and in the meantime I haven't played again for years. But yeah, my opponent was a Nemesis guy as a, well, I just tended to play him a lot back then, and the goal of the game was to freshen up the rules. It had been so long that I even doubted whether he was played with D6s or D10s. The answer is D6, by the way. So we both had small forces. We only agreed on 500 points. My Marine Corps fielding an HQ. We agreed on the small points value to not bring COs if we wanted. 4 stands of regular Marines, 2 Graf bikes and a Rhino, the bad dog. Of course, all painted in the colors of my Emperor's Children. You know, that Space Marine army, everybody laughed with me that it was pink, and now is the old hype. Guy brought along 2 HQs, 2 light tanks, a heavier tank, a scout and 4 stands of infantry. Those packs really are a heap cheaper than my Marines and outnumbering me, but not enough to raise his breakpoint, with his being at 4 and mine at 3, so we had a 9 versus 7 combat units in the game. I deployed in a sync on the left side of my deployment area with 2 squads of Marines inside the Rhino. Guy split his forces in 2, one on the one side, the light tanks with the heavy infantry support opposing my force, and on the other the heavier tank with some foot support. The table was fully drawn from our collections, houses I made ages ago for a small part, together with a lovely heap of forests and a river Nemesis made himself. I grabbed the first turn, and with a roll of 11 on the first command check, my turn was already over. Nemesis advanced his forces for a pincer movement. The second turn didn't went much better, as my forces moved forwards with the Rhino deploying the Marines aboard, and a second roll of 11 left me out in the open. His advancing force opened fire and both the Graf bikes were shot down. Ouch! First blood to the packs, and with both our breakpoints at 4, this was already halfway now, because Marines, they have a special rule on their breakpoint being such elite force. But then the battle turned as my forces suddenly started activating 3-4 times per turn, and the Marines and Rhinos started opening fire. Suppressing fire made his flank mostly ineffective, as slowly and surely his light tanks and infantry were whittled down away over 2 turns of firing, even with 2 units advancing to reinforce his line. Suppression was leaving him helplessly in the open. The other infantry squads moved to the side to face the upcoming flank of Nemesis, even with a command blunder in which my HQ retreated 9 centimeters towards my own table edge. His scouts tried to flee the battle, but was blasted apart from opportunity fire by the 2 Marines and the Rhino on that flank. In the meantime, the infantry kept suppressing the other infantry, who even retreated while a tank blew apart in a ball of bolter-induced fire. Nemesis had been taking botched tests and passing, so the Marines advanced on the final infantry stand. They were gunned down in true fire squad fashion, and the battle was over. Nemesis only had 2 HQs left on the table, while I didn't lose any more stands after the Graf bikes at the beginning of the game. The big difference in the battle was that Nemesis had only once managed to suppress 1 squad of mine, and he tried to interrupt a lot but always ended being suppressed before he could react. Those 4 dice on shooting for basic Marines are a heavy advantage in those small battles, it seemed, as well as a 5 save compared to the 6 he had even on his light tanks. But the rules are freshened up now, and soon will be a serious sized game of 1500 points, so check back when that goes live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.